Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Scarecrow Kaiser. I'm going to do for you today the start of my G4 deck profiles. So, get started. I'm going to do first the deck I was most excited for out of this set, and that is the Mythic Beast Genesis Stride. I really like the deck. I think it's really fun. Really, it takes skill to use. And what's part of what makes it fun, and I have my opinion of it. So I think it's a pretty darn good deck. I have a pretty good high regard for it. I like it a lot. So I'm gonna start with my grade 3s. So your boss grade 3, Fenrir. Fenrir is really cool and very good. When you stride, you can soul charge 3. And then you can call something that turn that you Soul Blast. And his GB2 is really good too. Even when you run out of strides, he's got a very good effect himself, where he gets a crit and grade 1s can't block him. So, yeah, he can't be perfect guard, but 16k-ish attacks usually don't. But, if he's attacking for 16, for example, the opponent would want to just guard 15 for a 2 to pass, but they can't because of his skill. They'll either have to guard with two 10s to make it a no pass, or maybe if they have a draw and a 10 shield. But they won't be able to just guard with a 2 or a 1 and then a 0, or unless they intercept. So it can make the opponent guard a little more heavily than they want to. Or if your opponent just doesn't have zeros in hand, they're kind of screwed. It's pretty good. For my secondary grade 3, I play 4 Deity of Dreams. So he's basically, you almost never have to use him. I think I've ever had to ride him twice. He's just if you don't actually get the Fenrir, you can ride into him. And you can soul charge 3. And then if you ever need to, you have his generation break where he can Soul Blast and get a crit and a bonus, which isn't terrible. He's a pretty decent card. So yeah, for the grade 2 lineup, I'm running 4 Biter. Pretty good. Not much to say. He soul charges 3 and draws. That's good. 4 Witch of Raven. She's your ideal turn 2 ride. When she's Soul Blasted, you can call her, so she's a free resource. So anytime she soul charges or when you ride her, that's just a free resource for later in the game, and you can even use it to create multiple attacks and stuff sometimes. And then my last grade 2, I'm playing 3 Snakes. He is cool. I think a lot of people might overestimate this card, but he's still a cool card. The way I generally run him, he doesn't usually do very much until I bring out my Mythic Destroyer and Soul Blast 6. That's the only time he ever really helps. So he's not a big thing, that's why I only run 3. But during those turns, he can hit good numbers and stuff. For my grade 1s, playing 4 Perfect Guards, the Damage Unflipper because you counterblast a lot in this deck. 4 of the Stride Assist. 4 Witch of Frogs. She's like the Raven, but a grade 1. Very good. Obviously, it's the best thing you can ride. And then I'm running for my last grade 2, 2 Claimer Harry. Now, some people don't run this or even know what it does, and I love this card. I think he is amazing. Each card you Soul Blast, he puts on the bottom of the deck and unflips. So he's really good. You can Soul Blast triggers that have gotten Soul Charge, put them back in the deck, and unflip that much damage, as well as he helps you from not decking out. There's a lot of things that you can do with this card that makes him amazing, and as I said, he's pretty amazing. I almost want to play 3. Usually just the 2 runs fine between drawing and soul charging it, which if I soul charge it, I have access to it anyway, so he's a very good card. I love that card. if you haven't tried them, and I highly suggest you do. For my triggers, I'm doing 7 crits. Then I'm doing 3 draws. His skill's pretty cool. If he guards, you can soul charge. And then I'm playing 2 stands. Gonna talk more about this in just a sec. This card is very important. And then 4 heals. Now, stand triggers generally aren't very good. They're pretty not good. We all know that. But this one has such a really important and really good skill that I feel like if you're running this deck, you have to run some like number of the stands. I only run 2 of them because I don't want them to interfere with how I'm playing out my game, in terms of I don't want to play like I have stands. With just 2 of them, I don't really take them into account for having a rearguarder stand. If I hit it, at that point it's just a +5 most of the time. But his skill of, you put him on top of the deck, put the drop zone back in the deck, and then if you put back 10, you draw. So he's pretty amazing. He puts himself back in the deck, replaces himself. He helps you from not decking out, and depending on how you play the game, you can put like a really high ratio of triggers from the grave into the deck, and it's like a legion from a trigger. It's very good. And this card is very important for not decking out. I feel like you should probably play it between drawing it, and if it gets soul charged where you could soul blast it and then call it, you have pretty good access to it, even at only 2. So, and then my starter, I'm using the Fetter of Leather. He's pretty cool. He's not like, I'm not gonna rave about him. He's a cool card. Amongst the choices of starters that there was, I gave a few of them a try and decided on playing this guy. He's kind of slow because he's a generation break and stuff, but he's still pretty cool because you don't have to counterblast or anything. He'll just revive something later on, trade him off basically. He's cool, but he's not like, I'm not gonna rave about him. But of the choices I had, I felt he was the better one. For my grade 4s, I run 1 Angel, or on hit. If she hits, you can pick up 3, put in a hand, and soul charge the other 2. It's pretty cool. You get to pick what you want, and you also get to put resources into the soul. So most games I use her as my first stride because the opponent will be at low damage and they don't want her to go through. So we'll put a pressure on them to try and guard like such a strong attack. Otherwise, you get resources and plus. And then I run 2 Doombrace. Doombrace is a very good card. He Soul Blasts 3, powers up 2 cards, and then if you have 2 or less in soul, he'll soul charge 3 and make up for his cost. Most games, as I said, I ride her first, but there are times I go for him first. Because he'll replace the soul that you soul charge and stuff, and it just depends. Sometimes you want her for the threat, and then sometimes you want him just to like beat them down and put him in a corner faster. But he usually, it depends on the, as I said, most times I go for her, sometimes him. Usually I save him for one of my last strides as well, one of the 2 of them, to get my opponent up to 5, then bring it out and start like hitting high numbers and make it hard for the opponent to stay alive. And then I'm playing 4 Destroyer. This card is really cool. It Soul Blasts 6 when it swings, then the opponent decides how to guard, and then after they're done guarding, you look at your top 4. You can put any of them on the bottom, any of them on the top, and in any order you wish. So using him, you almost always at least are going to get 2 triggers off of your drive check, usually. He's a very good card. Very good. And the fact that he Soul Blast 6 is actually like a good thing. This deck usually doesn't have a problem with having cards in soul and stuff, so very good. I usually, as I said, most games I'll go for the Angel first, followed up by him, and then depending I'll go from him to a Doombrace, or from, it depends, but usually like your second or third stride. And then Doombrace is usually like your final one, or sometimes you go for what I have is my last grade 3 Atmos. Atmos can just attack real big. I would want to run a Blizza, but I go through all my other grade 3s anyway, or grade 4s, so I probably won't have room. But this guy can still attack really big all by himself, and sometimes that's just too much. So if I was to do anything different, I'd probably maybe play a 3rd Doombrace, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this. I really like this deck. If you're into clans like this and stuff, or decks like this, you give it a try. It's a very good deck in my opinion. Thank you for watching. I'll have other decks coming soon.